up as a kid, yeah. All a nigga wanna have was a Burberry scarf and $3 in my pocket. Instead I got beat with a switch, but I don't give a fuck, but it's on my body. Scars all up on me, but I run around from.
What is up, everybody? It's JT Sports, and I'm back to you guys with another Pittsburgh Steelers 2020 NFL training camp news and updates. We're going to be giving you guys the latest of what went on during the Pittsburgh Steelers August 18th training camp practice. And before I get into it, make sure that you guys hit that like button and subscribe to the channel because I upload NFL videos and NFL content daily. Also, make sure that you guys hit that bell icon so you get notified every time I upload a new video, because I'm going to be doing these NFL training camp news and updates for all 32 NFL teams as we progress throughout NFL training camp and we inch closer to the start of the upcoming NFL season. So the first takeaway from the Pittsburgh Steelers Tuesday training camp session was how Mike Tomlin talked about how they are taking care and monitoring the veterans on the team. Now, in his post-training camp press conference on Tuesday, he talked about how the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be rotating in veterans on certain days. Every veteran on the team is going to have a certain day that they don't partake in training camp on that day to keep those guys fresh, and also give some of the younger guys on the roster opportunity to step in and show what they can do. Now, this is for all veterans. This isn't anything to, you know, keep guys who are coming off injuries, guys like Stephon Tuitt and Ben Roethlisberger. This isn't an injury precaution. This is something that Mike Tomlin and his Pittsburgh Steelers coaching staff is doing for every single NFL veteran on the team. So every veteran on the Pittsburgh Steelers roster is going to have a day that they don't participate in training camp, not because of injuries, but, you know, just to keep those guys fresh. And I think this is a really smart move, because here's why. You don't really need to see what the veterans are going to do in training camp, because we basically already know what to expect from guys like Joe Hayden. We already know what to expect from guys like Charlie Villanueva, who didn't participate in training camp today, and Eric Ebron as well didn't participate in Tuesday's training camp session because of the rotation that the Pittsburgh Steelers have. So, I mean, look, there's no reason to risk your veterans day in and day out on training camp when you already know what they can do. So, by doing this rotation system that Pittsburgh has, you give your veterans chances to recoup their bodies, and you also give your young guys on the roster, guys who are trying to make a name for themselves and trying to crack the 53-man roster, you give them an opportunity to showcase what they can do. So everybody gets a pretty fair chance, man. So, I mean, I really like this system that Mike Tomlin has in place in terms of rotating in the veterans on certain days. Certain veterans will sit out of training camp, and the young guys will be able to step in and get an opportunity to play. Now, the injuries that came from the August 18th training camp session for the Steelers was injuries to offensive guard Kevin Dotson, who had a knee injury, but he ended up walking off the field. Then you also had Dax Raymond, who had an ankle injury. He basically rolled up on his ankle. Now, we don't really know the timetable for both of these guys' injuries. Both of those guys are getting examined right now, so we don't really know when those guys are going to end up coming back from those injuries, but I'm hoping that it's nothing long-term and nothing significant. Now, the next thing is that Mike Tomlin, in his August 18th Tuesday training camp press conference, was asked about Ben Roethlisberger and how he's looking so far throughout padded practices for the Steelers. And Mike Tomlin basically didn't give a response to that. He basically said that it's too early to tell about how Ben Roethlisberger is performing, because Mike Tomlin is a guy who is authentic. He's one of the honest coaches in the NFL. He's going to be brutally honest with you. He's going to tell you when you suck, when you're not good. He's going to tell you when you're great. And as of right now, Mike Tomlin doesn't really know what to think of Ben Roethlisberger, because he basically said that it's too early to tell. He's still coming back from his season-ending elbow injury, so it's still a lot of football that has to be played. And he basically said the same thing about Stephon Tuitt when he was asked about Stephon Tuitt. He basically said a similar thing. He basically said that it's too early to tell. Right now, the Steelers are just focused on trying to get him back into football shape, and they're trying to get the most out of him right now, and they're working on improving his motor. So basically, not really a lot in terms of, from when it comes to Mike Tomlin, where Big Ben Roethlisberger is and where Stephon Tuitt are, and when it comes to their performance throughout training camp so far. Then you also had Terrell Edmunds. So Terrell Edmunds made some really big plays for the Pittsburgh Steelers in the first couple of days throughout contact practices, throughout training camp, and he made some really good plays in the run game and the passing game. Now, Mike Tomlin was asked about how he feels about Terrell Edmunds, and basically he said, you know, Terrell Edmunds has did nice, but you know, it's a group effort. We need good play out of the whole entire secondary and total. So basically, Mike Tomlin, you know, he acknowledged that Terrell Edmunds has been pretty solid, but he also said that this is a collective effort and the whole entire secondary has to be playing at a very high level and the whole entire unit has to be really good. Now, the next guy, which is the last guy that we got to talk about, is linebacker Useless Gilbert. Now, Gilbert made some plays, and Mike Tomlin was asked about him. Now, he was a guy who, you know, was pretty productive so far throughout training camp in the first couple of days of padded practices, but Mike Tomlin didn't really want to pull the plug on him. He basically said that, look, Gilbert, he made some pretty good plays, but he's still young. He still has a lot of things that he has to work on. So, basically, those are the biggest takeaways from Pittsburgh Steelers August 18th training camp session. Mike Tomlin, you know, was basically asked about players, how he feels about players' performances so far. And what Mike Tomlin is trying to do is basically that, you know, he's not trying to hype anybody up. He's trying to hold everybody to the same standard that he holds everybody else. So basically, if a guy has a nice performance, yeah, Mike Tomlin is going to acknowledge that, but he always is going to make it about the team. And that's something that Mike Tomlin has that I think separates him from the majority of the coaches in the NFL. He's really honest and he's really truthful. And he is a guy who doesn't like to, you know, single out one player. Like, he's a guy who says, look, this guy played well, but you know, this is a collective effort. It's all about the team. It's all about the secondary. It's all about the cornerback position. It's all about how the group of quarterbacks has to play well. The offensive line has to play well. So Mike Tomlin doesn't, you know, single out one player. He holds the entire Pittsburgh Steelers team to the same standard that he holds everybody else. So I mean, that's something that I really like about Mike Tomlin. And I mean, watching that training camp press conference from Mike Tomlin on August 18th shows me why I love Mike Tomlin as a Pittsburgh Steelers head coach, because he holds everybody to the same standard that he holds everybody else to. Just because you're an undrafted free agent rookie and you're trying to make a name on this Steelers roster and you're trying to make that 53-man roster, Mike Tomlin has the same expectations for you as he has for his veterans on the roster, and vice versa. So this is it for my Pittsburgh Steelers 2020 NFL training camp news and update from the Pittsburgh Steelers August 18th training camp practice. Let me know what you guys think about it down in the comment section and down below. Let me know some things that I missed, because you know it's reports coming out every minute. So at the time I'm recording this, and maybe some more information that has came out about the Pittsburgh Steelers Tuesday training camp session. So let me know if you guys have some more information about the Pittsburgh Steelers Tuesday training camp session in the comment section down below. Make sure that you guys like the video and subscribe to the channel for more NFL videos and content. And thanks for watching.